Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Design Masterclass. Now before proceeding with the session, I would like to inform you that last week we have uploaded a video on how to make a continuous carousel and how you can split it into slices without a hassle. So please check that out if you haven't yet. Now let's get started with today's topic. So today we are looking at how to crop out products or images of people in very different ways. Now, for ad designs, we usually get images of products or people. Now, how you are going to crop the image depends on the quality of the image. All right. So you cannot apply the same technique for every kind of product image you get or a person's image you get. So first, let me tell you in which different ways we can cut out this product or image, whatever you are looking for. So here you will find rectangular marquee tool, elliptical marquee tool. We use these things. Then you will get lasso and different kinds of lasso tools. Here you have again magic band selection tools, object selection tool. Now this tool is new in Photoshop, and if you are not using any updated version of Photoshop, you will not be getting this. This is, I believe, this tool is, I believe, comes from 2018 or 2019 onwards. So let us see how it can help us. So if we click on the object selection tool, we get these two options, and if we click on select subject, what the AI does is it look out for an object in the image and it will try to crop it out. So let's see, this has already done the work and it is pretty awesome. Now let me tell you how it did the job. The very basic way how it deals is it looks out for contrast. All right, so a heavier contrast difference will help it to select the pixels and it will act accordingly. But if you see it properly, the selection is not that well. Okay, if I just need this bowl with or the plate with this noodles and not the mat or the chopsticks behind it, then we will have to manage it a bit. So let's see if we can do that or not. So let's select the selection tool, and from here you will be able to increase the size, and by pressing alt or option you will be able to deselect these parts. All right, so this is pretty much the selection, but this is not a very exact selection which we are looking for. All right, so the selection is done. Now this took a bit of time, but it got the job done. But we have a very different way to do this. Now let me show you how we simply complete this first and then move on to a different technique which I definitely use for this kind of subjects. Now we can smoothen it up. Okay, I believe I don't need to do anything much over here, and over here let's come down a bit, and then we can select decontaminating color from here, and amount can be the one which is already selected, and that's it, and the crop is complete, and then you can save it as png and you can process it further. But we have a different way that I like to do this. Over here you will get elliptical marquee tool. Now as this is a circle subject, I would like to use this tool for this purpose, and let me show you how. So press shift and alt, and from the center you need to drag till the edge of the product or subject. Okay, let us see how we can do that. All right, I believe this is a fine one. Now you can move the circle a bit upward or downward with the help of move arrow. Like now you can see that the plate is a bit larger than what our selection is. Over here in select, you will get an option to modify. Now this switch I think looks fine to me, and then I will press on select and mask, and let's see what the results come out like. If you have any hard object, please keep the decontaminating colors on. This will help to refine the edges very well. And now we have pressed OK, and see how the cropping came out. Now if you want to refine it, you always have an option to do that. Alright, now let's see how we can do this. Now the first thing which I will do is simply come up over here and do this object selection tool. Now why I am thinking to do this one, because if you see the product and the background has a very wide contrast difference, so we can definitely apply this tool over here. So in or you can also click over here, or you can simply drag from here to here, and it will identify an object in this selection area. If you see now, the selection is pretty darn good, but if you zoom it to it, but if you zoom in, you will see that the selection is not that fine. So let's see what happens when we are using quick selection tool. And with the quick selection tool, we were able to do this thing, but I can see that the edges are not sharp and perfect as I was looking for. So how we can deal with this is we can use pen tool, okay, which we widely use, okay. Now you will get two options here, path and shape. Now if you are drawing a kind of shape, you can select that one. But for the time being, we will keep it in path, and you can click select over here, and then you can click on add to selection. Now please do not click on new selection, else it will remove everything which you did earlier, and it will just add a simple new selection of this area which we did just right now. So you can click on add to selection, and it will simply add to the selection you already did before. And look at this, how clean it looks now. Now let's see at this edge over here as well. We can simply, and that is it. So we have completed the selection. Now let's zoom it out and see how the selection looks like. And the further process is same. You will not be able to see that selected mask option. For that, you will have to enable any of those selection tools like this one, or this one. And over there, you will be getting that part of option, and select this layer, right? And then you get this select and mask and complete your rest of the stuff. Now let's move on to a different image. So over here we have an image of a lady. Now if you see that, you will have to deal with her hairs, and this is quite a complex selection. Moreover, the quality of the image is high over here, so we might be able to do this fast and in a very clean way, but if the quality is poor, you will get a hell lot of trouble in doing this. So let's see how we can do this. Again, a pretty simple way. Before doing anything, let's click on this, and let's let let us see how Photoshop can analyze it. All right, so it has done a pretty good job, right? But you can see over here the selection is quite messy, over here the selection is quite messy. Now we have done the selection. Now why I have selected the part above her hair, why we have done this is just because we are allowing Photoshop to do a free sampling with her hair and the background. Let us see how we can do this over here, and is it successful or not. So you see this brush over here, right? So if you press over here, see, so we are not going up too much inside her hair, else that will create a bit of a problem. And I can see a bit of a selection over there and a bit of a background left over there. So we can improvise this thing a bit later, but let's keep the smoothness at 0. Let's increase the contrast, let's increase the shift edge, and you can see that the part of those hairs have been selected, and remove this decontaminating color. So always keep this new layer with layer mask enabled, else your selection will be done. Either you will with this is by default in selection or new layer, and I believe it is in selection, and that will just enhance your selection and do nothing on your image, right? And over here you can press select subject, and that will select the human subject at an instant, and you will not be required to do anything over here, right? So let us see, when we click over here select and mask, this is an insane selection, right? And we have this over here selected new layer with layer mask, and that is it. We can simply press OK, and we have the man selected out. Now let us design an image for you. So we usually do 1080 by 1080, convert to smart object, and then you can simply copy and paste this over here. Now, pretty important information. Please please convert your image into smart object before doing anything with it, be it transformation, resizing, or doing any kind of stuff like taking to another project or doing anything with it. Before doing anything, just convert it into smart object, else the property of the image will get destroyed. Let us design a bit more interesting part over here. So let's select a solid color. And yeah, I believe this is fine. Let's put a text over here. All right. So now we can simply select a color, say white, and we can increase the size of the text. We can change it to say Sans Pro, and we can make this thing regular and this one in a bold one, I believe. And yeah, that's it. You can use simple shapes to make this one stand out a bit more. So let's see how we can do this. All right. So I believe this was a pretty simple image that we can do and we can use it in our advertisements, and I believe this will convert pretty well. Now, I will be discussing with you in another session that what are the things we must be looking while designing Facebook ads or Instagram ads and what kind of stuff converts really well. So these are the pretty simple selection ways we usually use to cut out the images. We have some more styles or some more ways which we use to cut out an image, and I would like to show you some more. Let's see how. So first one will be the blending option. Now when you move on to the blending option, you will see this area, right? So if you remove this now, you will see the background is completely gone just in a matter of click. Okay, so you might be thinking, why haven't we used this earlier? Now everything has their own drawbacks. All right, so let me show you the selection quality we got over here. Right, so if you see this thing, right, uh, the edges are not very well cleaned up. Now you can press option, okay, and this will get separated, and then you can slightly do the further uh, changes or adjustments, okay, or you can simply move it a bit more and you will see that this thing can be done. Now if you see closely, we have a obstruction over here that selection is pretty limited and we cannot refine it too much. Okay, now in order to refine it more, you will have to use the way which we taught you earlier. Also we have another way of doing this, and that is we have another thing which we call color range. If we go to select and click on color range, we will get an option, and from here you can select the color, and we select the white area and not this one. Okay, over here you will get to see a preview on how it will be looking like, and you will get a fuzziness option which helps you to expand or remove the selection area. Now the black portion is the exact selected portion. If you want it to be less selected, you can increase this, okay, and you can then decrease this as per your requirement. We are selecting white over here, so if we keep it in 0, it will just take exact pure white areas, and then you can simply select inverse, and the selection of your product will be done. I believe this session was helpful to you, and if you have any query, you can comment down below. We will get back to you as soon as possible. Till then, thanks for watching the video, and we will meet in the next master class.